Hey guys, I'm back again. Welcome to my 3 weeks review of the Galaxy S23 FE. So far this phone is pretty boring, simple, but it honestly just does the job. And I would make the case that it might be the iPhone of Android. But just bear with me for a second. First, let's talk about value. At $600, I think it is a pretty decent price for a flagship phone. I've seen it go on sale as low as $500 or even $400 during Black Friday. And in some cases, you can basically get this phone for free if you lock in a 2-year deal with your carrier, if you don't mind being committed for the next 2 years or so. 2 years may sound like an eternity in the tech world because there are new phones pumping up every single month. But year to year, smartphones don't really change that much just in terms of what they offer anymore. My Galaxy S20 is about to be 4 years old and it basically works just fine. It feels just as fast as my Galaxy S23. And I feel the same way about the S23 FE. It offers the same experience as the Galaxy S23. So it doesn't really feel that different on a day-to-day basis if you're navigating around and using the phone normally. I am currently reviewing the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 version. But from my understanding, the Exynos version is usually just a tad inferior compared to the Snapdragon. But regardless, they are still 2022 chips, so they're not that old by any means, and they're still fast and sufficient enough for most normal people. And with the FE, you're going to get 4 years of software support and 5 years of security updates. So that should be more than enough for most people. Some people can make the case that the Pixel 8 is actually the iPhone of Android. But one thing I don't like about the Pixel 8 is they tend to overheat a lot. So that does impact battery life, impact performances, and also impact wireless charging. Since the phone generally runs hot, it has a hard time utilizing wireless charging because it is taking up more battery than it's charging. As much as I do love Pixel phone, I find that it does tend to struggle to make it through the day. The Galaxy S23 FE is not a crazy all-day battery life or anything like that. You can get anywhere from 10 to 13 hours on average, but it does have 25 watt fast charging. And it also has 15 watt wireless charging, which does work. And wireless charging is something that tend to take for granted. You see phones have them. Some of the mid-range phones don't have them. Pixel 7a has 5 watt, but it is basically useless because it's so hot that it doesn't even charge. As I'm driving around, I see my battery percentages dropping. But the wireless charging does work on the S23 FE, so big kudos to Samsung there for making something that works. And before jumping to the negatives about this phone, just want to give a quick shout out to my partner Mint Mobile. They offer unlimited 5G plans for as low as $15 a month. This is a limited time offer until the end of January, so make sure to check them out, link in the description below. Some of the things I don't like about this phone is the fact that it is using a 2-year-old chip. And this is the first time that the Galaxy Fan Edition is using an older chip. With the Galaxy S20 FE, they use the same chip as that year flagship phone. The S21 FE, same trend, they use the same chip. But with the Galaxy S22 FE, that one was non-existent due to chip shortages, supply chain issues, and everything like that. So it almost seems like the Galaxy S23 FE just basically used whatever chip they couldn't get in 2022 and just put it on the FE instead. So one can argue they're recycling these chips and it is technically inferior compared to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. But at the same time, like I mentioned earlier in the videos, my Galaxy S20 from 4 years ago works just as fine. Of course, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is more efficient, it has better battery life, but on a day-to-day basis, using it, it feels just as fast and smooth. And best of all, you don't have to spend $800 for the flagship S model. If this one, you can get it at $600 retail price, and if you can find it on sale for $500, that's basically half the price of the flagship model. And I think the FE is just a better bargain. So even if you do cut the price in half, you sacrifice some performance and battery life, I think it is okay. My Galaxy S20 is still going strong. My only issue there is it's no longer gonna get software support. When I bought the Galaxy S20, when it first came out, it cost $1,000, believe it or not. That seems like years ago. But now if you can get the FE at $400 or $500, and it will last you another 4 years or so, I think that's a pretty good bargain. When you think about it, it's about $100 a year if you get it for $400. So gaming wise, I'm not a heavy gamer, but these days when I'm taking care of my baby, I do manage to launch random games, Monopoly Go, Pokemon trading card games, little things like that, just to take up some time and swipe here and there. It does struggle a little bit once you do gaming. I mean, while you're playing the game, it's fine, but I do notice that the battery life tends to drain more. But if you're a light user and don't do any game or anything like that, on a normal day at work, I just have it sitting on my wireless charger. I have a work from home job. It doesn't really give me anxiety about battery or anything like that. When I had the Pixel 7a, that phone would take 2 hours to charge and it has really short battery life. But with this phone, it has okay battery life, but it has a fast enough fast charging that you can just top it off in about half an hour or so, and it'll definitely make it through the rest of the day. And for smartphones, I really only ask for 4 things out of a good smartphone, and I think the FE hits on it all. In general, I prefer a phone under $700, which is a sweet spot for me. Back in the old days when the Galaxy S7 came out, the retail price was about $700, and I think that is kind of the sweet spot. Every year you see prices going up, and even with the S20, they started off at $1,000. Now they realize that people don't want to spend that much, so they do offer lower tiers with the base model now at $800. There should be no need to spend more than $1,000 on a phone unless you're going to use all the quote-unquote pro features, which I would argue about 5% of people out there actually do use. I think the base model is more than suffice for most people, and if you go a step below that into the upper mid-range phones, you can find a lot of good value there, and I think the FE is a prime example of that, and I do like the $600 price tag as a starting point. Second thing that I ask for in a smartphone is that it is fast, and FE is fast enough. You can scroll around just fine, there's no stutter. I don't really ask for much, I just ask that it can move around just fine and don't lag or anything like that. And any phone retailing at $600 above, there should be no issue with lag or anything like that, so the FE is fine here. It has an excellent camera as well, pretty reliable and similar, if not the same as the Galaxy S23 line that costs twice as much. And also has a good screen. I can see this outside in the sun when it is bright, even though it only tops off at 1450 peak brightness. I'm not standing under direct sunlight every day, but when I do, it doesn't really impact my visibility or anything like that. And I can use this in the middle of the night when it's dark, my lights are off, and I can dim the brightness all the way down and it doesn't hurt my eyes. So there you have it. The S23 FE hits those 4 requirements for me. It has a great price, it is fast, it has a good camera and a good screen. So I would recommend it if you don't want to pay $800 for the flagship model of S series. Alright guys, thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, concerns, anything else you want me to answer. Please check out my last video if you haven't already, in case you're still deciding between the S23 FE or wait until the S24 comes out. Hint, you probably want to wait for the S24 before making any decision, but just check out that video if you haven't already. Remember to like and subscribe. I appreciate the time as always, and see you guys in the next video.